video, so I'm gonna react to why Kanye West can't be canceled.
Video is sponsored by Scentbird. Stick around to find out more.
Kanye West once was widely considered as one of the most brilliant minds in music. And just when you thought he said the wildest thing ever, he could.
Yo, Kanye be wildin', bro. Like Kanye be wildin', bro. He dad do be wildin', bro. He has his moments, bro. But he's not. But he's never gonna be canceled, no matter what people have to say, bro. Like what people trying to do. Like y'all gonna buy his shoes regardless. Y'all gonna buy his fits and all that shit. His shoes is dirty. Not dirty. I mean, his fits. His shoes is them shits is ugly, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Them shits is dark.
Continues to up the ante.
Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one?
You hear about slavery for 400 years? For 400 years? That sounds like a choice.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
This man got up stage, took the microphone out of Taylor's hands just to praise Beyonce, bro.
One of the best videos of all time.
A rapper, producer, designer, and overall artistic mastermind who's had his hands on the control of the culture for almost 2 decades at this point, there's no denying that without Kanye West, the world as we know it will be vastly different. While he may not have solved the oil crisis or instated world peace, Ye's been a leader in every industry he's attached himself to. In doing so, he's launched the careers from everyone from the late great Virgil Abloh to John Legend and Travis Scott. But alongside his eye for spotting talent and his discography that means so much to millions of people, there comes the downside for which, for years now, has been Kanye's tendency to make being a Ye fan just that little bit more difficult for a few months. Prone to speaking his mind, Ye's 2-decade-long habit of saying just about anything in ways that almost contradict his legacy is nothing new. And while his fans are used to this, his recent comments have been even more divisive than usual. And between his decision to don a White Lives Matter t-shirt to Jewish people becoming his recent aim, people are starting to feel that Ye may be done for good. However, if history has taught us anything, it's that Ye isn't going anywhere. And that's because even now, he still has too much of himself embedded in the culture. And in reality, his position in the world remains as strong as ever due to a few key factors. At the outset of his career, Kanye made no bones about the fact that he was outspoken. "My niche is that I'm the funny version of Dead Prez. I'm the rap version of Dave Chappelle," he told the Rolling Stone way back in 2014. "I'm not saying I'm nearly as talented as Chappelle when it comes to political and social commentary, but like him, I'm laughing to keep from crying." At that time, Ye's politics aligned with his fan base. From tracks like All Falls Down to Diamonds and crack music, he had the power to discuss issues facing black.
Kanye has some classics. Kanye, he fake has some classics, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, y'all, like, let me know if y'all like him, yes or no. Cause there's some people that are not a fan of Kanye, and that's alright. Like,
People both domestically and abroad in a way that set him aside from his peers. Brought into the world stage when he took aim at George W. Bush during the Hurricane Katrina telethon, Kanye's gift to create music that was socially pertinent, inspiring, and vulnerable made him a superstar. Ye was the people's champ who spoke for the masses. His issues were relatable, and he had the capacity to speak brashly without fearing what would come from it, which only made us love his music more. But over the years, Ye has applied the same approach even as his views have become less palatable. This has led to some major instances where Kanye's conduct came under the microscope, and now the same thing is happening. While a lot of Ye's previous comments have been chalked up to part of his free thinking philosophy, there's an argument to be made that this time, Ye pushed all the wrong buttons. As a result, remarks that he made during his recent appearance on Alex Jones's InfoWars arguably represented the moment where tolerance for Ye has dwindled down to zero for some. Now, we all want to make a good first impression, and that starts the minute you walk into the room. Like a nice watch pulls an outfit together, a good cologne can really help leave a lasting impression. And that's where today's sponsor comes in. Scentbird lets you choose from over 600 designer and niche video.
I love Jewish people, but I also love Nazis.
Oh, man. Well, I have to disagree with that.
I like Hitler.
I don't like Hitler. I And I know you're trying to be shocking with that.
I'm not trying to be shocking.
Where a lot of Ye's previous comments seem calculated and could be justified as free speech, his most recent chapter, beginning from the White Lives Matter t-shirt and onwards, has hit all the wrong notes in a way that he's tactically avoided in the past. It didn't land, and it was deeply offensive, violent, and dangerous, wrote Vogue fashion editor Gabrielle Carifa Johnson on Instagram. What I feel is that he isn't fully aware of the difference between appropriating Black Lives Matter and subverting the Make America Great Again hat. When it's worn by Trump, it's racist. When it's worn by Kanye, it's about liberation. Seemingly avoiding the rebellious stances that he used to take in favor of falling in line with discriminatory beliefs that have been perpetrated for centuries, Ye's recent words have caused more concern than most in that they lend credibility to ideas that might be genuinely dangerous. And as a result, people such as the family of Ahmaud Arbery, who was unjustly shot and killed by police as the BLM movement gathered steam, are now calling on Ye to be held accountable for what he's done. As a result of his t-shirt, White Lives Matter started trending in the US, which would direct support and legitimize extremist behavior, much like the behavior that took the life of her son, their lawyer Lee Merritt told Rolling Stone. That is the...
In my opinion, bro, all lives matter, bro. Every lives matter, not just black lives, but white lives, Asian lives, Spanish lives. Everybody lives matters, bro. Every lives matter, you know, like... All lives matter, bro. Not just black lives, but every lives matter, bro. No matter what color your skin, no matter what color your skin is, bro. Every lives matter, bro. No funny shit.
That Wanda and families like hers continue to fight against. This mockery of the Black Lives Matter movement and now his denunciation of the movement as some sort of hoax flies directly in the face of what he said. It's confusing for her. It's confusing for the families to receive his support privately, but publicly to set us all back. Grim as it may seem, the fact that Kanye can do this while still giving $2 million to the families of those bereaved speaks to the exact reason why, just like everything else, Kanye will survive this latest round of controversy. As if we know anything about Ye, the notion of him having an ideological hill to die on isn't real. While all of the White Lives Matter and anti-Semitic stuff is dominating the story at the moment, it will ultimately be just another footnote in the controversy section of his Wikipedia. As when the newsworthiness of this viewpoint dies down, Ye will simply evolve and shift his focus elsewhere, just as he's beginning to do now by apologizing to the Jewish community on Piers Morgan's Uncensored, and just as he's done with previous viewpoints or symbols that once threatened to overshadow his legacy. I'm taking the red hat off with this interview. Ye told Forbes as the MAGA supporting slavery was a choice-based era of his public persona was coming to its end. One of the main reasons I wore the red hat as a protest to the segregation of votes in the black community. Also, other than the fact that I like Trump hotels and the saxophones in the lobby. Through this comparison, we can see that this is just another gesture to manipulate the news agenda, which he will then shed when the luster of it wears off. As, while Kanye may act erratically, he knows that he still needs an audience to make sure what he's doing is impactful. The only problem is that these days, it's unclear whether Kanye cares who that audience is.
Yeah, Kanye just wants that attention, bro. That's what he always been. He just wants that attention.
Or what they value him for. While the White Lives Matter controversy feels like it has a greater magnitude than others, let's not forget that this isn't even his first flirtation with white supremacy. Back in 2013, the merch for his Yeezus tour controversially made use of the Confederate flag.
You know, the Confederate flag represented slavery in a way. That's my abstract take on what I know about it, right? So I made the song New Slaves. So I took the Confederate flag and made it my flag. It's my flag now. Now what you gonna do?
Arguably the first instance of Ye using symbols to be provocative and spark conversations, the move marked a shift in how West expressed himself. And from there on out, this has been a go-to in his publicity playbook. And at the same time, San Francisco State adjunct professor Dave Cook gave his analysis and predicted what's taking place today, in that while West may be moving deliberately, the untold side effects are where the dangers lie. Kanye doesn't move by accident. There's definitely a level of publicity involved in this. Kanye runs the risk of greenlighting something that is overtly racist, and I don't think he has any plan in mind on how to educate people. Since then, West has towed the line between opening lines of dialogue and simply doing things in order to challenge cultural sensibilities and become a central part of the news agenda. And according to his Tucker Carlson interview, he gives it no more thought than he does anything else in his life.
I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God, and just brilliance.
Seen as ultimately benign, if unstable, rather than dangerous, the idea that we need to accept the good with the bad when it comes to Kanye has been a part of any cultural discussion surrounding him since at least the Taylor Swift VMAs incident. And now his free-thinking approach is not only an extension of the fact that he knows he'll get away with it, but the nature of it has allowed him to, for the most part at least, avoid consequence. As a result, Ye has been, rightly or wrongly, given leeway for dialogue that simply wouldn't be afforded to others, and this is born out of the immense respect that his fellow creatives have for him and his contributions. For an example of this, look no further than how Kendrick Lamar responded to his "slavery was a choice" claims. He has his own perspective, K-Dot said, and he's on this whole agree to disagree thing, and I would have this conversation with him personally if I want to. Where others would be exiled, the culture feels a responsibility to grant him an audience to justify him, and here we see the central reason why Ye simply can't be cancelled or erased like others, as when it comes down to it, his contributions are always seen as outweighing his misdeeds. When he drops a new album, the list of willing collaborators has remained as expansive as ever. Likewise, he's deemed a worthwhile risk by major...
Kanye's never gonna be canceled. As long as he live, he's never gonna be canceled. Like, bro, you know, people like if he comes out with a new like designer shoes and fits and all that shit, people's gonna wear that shit, bro. Like, I don't know why his like I said, his shoes is dirt. I don't like the Yeezys, bro. That shit look ass, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. The shoes is dirt. I ain't gonna lie.
Labels. Cardi B's career is carefully mediated by Atlantic, but they still gamble on a Ye verse at a time when he was leading a smear campaign against his ex-wife and her boyfriend. Above that, he's left an imprint on everyone at the top of the game today. J. Cole's first mainstream breakout hit was formulated from the skeleton of a Kanye track, and he's been a student of his in many ways for his whole career. Later, one of his most iconic verses is a takedown of Ye's downward spiral on False Prophets. Long before they waged the defining feud of their careers against one another, Drake proclaimed that he was one of the most influential artists on his artistry. Meanwhile, Big Sean and Kid Cudi's career were kickstarted by Ye, and as long as one of them are out there in the public eye, they'll be forever intertwined. A telling story which points to just how much he still means in the cultural space. Look at how Jack Harlow reacted to being saluted by Ye in the midst of an Instagram meltdown. "This right here is one of the greatest moments of my entire life," he wrote on Twitter. "Glad y'all all get front row seats to it. Suddenly, all the hate means nothing. Imagine your hero saying this about you. I could cry." Even while in the eye of the storm, James Blake attested to the importance of Ye's seal of approval when he spoke about collaborations from the two being previewed at Fashion Week, writing, "It's my birthday and West is playing tracks we made. I'm good for presents, thanks." While that takes care of his fellow artists, the other aspect that averts his cancellation is that companies will continue to sponsor his ranges and fund his ideas. And rather than being a mystery, this comes down to the fact that there's ultimately still a financial incentive attached to working with him. And this was explored by Wasni Lambre of the Young Turks.
Kanye, because he's able to generate money for people still mess with him. Other people that might say some messed up things, they just would not be afforded the opportunity to go talk to Tucker Carlson or go to CNBC and talk about how they're going to tank somebody's stock. One, he commands a lot of attention, and two, like I said, he's earned a lot of money for some prominent people, so people still feel a need to be close to him, or else they would have threw this guy in the trash bin with everybody else who said 10% of the craziest things this guy said. His sneakers continue to sell out, and people still want to put him on TVs.
Although Ye has made no shortage of errors in his career, he has survived what would have permanently sunk other careers for one reason, and that is that across culture, relevance is the currency that Ye has always commanded like few others. And until such times where that, or the audience's patience, runs dry, Ye will always have a seat at the table.
That's a fact, bro. You know, as long as, you know, like I said, as long as Kanye is relevant, bro, as long as Kanye is relevant, he's never gonna be canceled, bro. Like, now I like some of Kanye's music, you know, I like some of Kanye's music, but he's not gonna be canceled, bro. Like, come on, bro. People's gonna still buy his shoes and his fits, bro. So yeah, bro. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the vibes. Whoever you're checking out, you are.